weapon has always been kinda amazing. I've always loved the bolt of Gransax. Although one of my favorite builds that I once in a time made with this weapon got nerfed because it was relying on Barricade Shield. Now that they buffed again Barricade Shield in patch 107, this is as strong as it was back in the day. The cool thing about this build, the most amazing thing about this build is that it has everything. It has just simply everything. It has damage, it has defense, it has range. There is nothing wrong about this build. There is nothing to counter this build. It's just that amazing. If you so decide to, you can just bulwark back behind your shield using your barricade shield, and if you want to get away from the enemy and do distance damage, you can definitely do so. In the gameplay footage, you might sometimes see me taking way too much stamina damage to my shield, even though that we have the barricade shield on the Dorito shield. That is simply because in this build we're playing on New Game Plus 7, so yeah, there is indeed that. Also, we might as well have to change the shield for this build. I am using the Dorito shield for this build. But if you want to min-max, you can definitely do so. But if you want to min-max this build, you're going to want to have to do some different things than the ones that I am doing right here. We'll get to that later in the video. For now, let's focus on stats first. Now for the stats, one amazing thing about this build is that we can soft cap Dexterity. Yes, Bolt of Gransax actually does scales with Dexterity rather than Faith, which is kind of weird because it is a lightning weapon. It is a weird weapon, it is what it is, dude. That being said, the Bolt of Gransax has a B scaling on Dexterity once you max it out, and the Ash of War, the skill of the weapon, does scales with Dexterity as well. So at 80 in Dexterity, we are soft capping the weapon, and we are able to deal the most damage out of the weapon possible. So we are doing our soft cap. Now for health, I always advise to keep that on 60, but where we do require quite a lot of hungerness on the stats for this build is in mind. We are going to be using quite a lot of mind with this build because of the shield and the the barricade shield. The Bolt of Gransax actually do use quite a lot of FP, so that is one thing to have in mind. One thing that I like about the Bolt of Gransax is that it's a goddamn sniper rifle, dude. The range of this thing, that you can deal damage to someone with this thing, it's basically, if you can lock on into an enemy, if you can lock onto into the enemy, you're going to be able to deal damage to them. It doesn't matter how far away they are from you, as long as you can lock them up, yeah, you're going to... Oh, no, never mind that. But nearly, like, close to that. It is a damn sniper rifle. As I was saying with the stats, it is going to be quite hungry on your mind stat. That is one thing that has to be said. So, since we have so much defense, I wouldn't mind switching some points into bigger to place them instead into mind. We are using in some of the most dangerous situations when the enemies are on top of us, we are using our barricade shield and we attack. Since this is a spear, it has quite amazing damage at 80 Dexterity. We are using our shield to barricade ourselves behind it. The Dorito shield already has some nice stability, but if you do not want to use the Dorito shield because of the stat requirements on strength, you do have the Banished Knight shield or the Twinberg Kite shield. All of them are excellent choices for you to be able to use behind the barricade shield. So you are going to be consuming quite a lot of mind with this thing. So you are using mind to keep damage and to keep defense. So you can definitely trade those 20 extra points into bigger. Ideal, I would like to have 60 on bigger, but that's just how things are. Now, for the talismans. That's the juicy part of it all. Lightning Scorpion Charm. That is going to affect the base damage of the weapon, because the weapon on itself, it does have lightning damage. It's going to affect as well the Ash of War of the weapon. Great job, Arsenal. Since we are not having that much of, well, this is personal preference. If you want to use something lighter, if you want to use a lighter armor, something like that, you can change this to, for example, let's say a Earth's Favorite +2, maybe Crimson Amber Medallion +2. There's a whole lot of choices. Oh, a good choice as well would definitely be, let me see if I can find it, the one that gives you, hold on, yeah, the FP consuming one. I do not remember the name right now because I did not consider it for the build, but if you can get a talisman that reduces the FP consumption, it's just quite amazing, because we do consume quite a lot of FP with our Bolt of Gransax, with the Ancient Lightning Spear. That being said, next we have the Shadow of Alexander. This is natively going to increase the damage of our Ash of War, as well as the Godfrey icon. The Godfrey icon is going to affect the charge one, not this one, because you can charge this thing. That's going to deal quite a lot of damage as well. You can definitely use it, but I would advise, since you do have so much distance, I would advise just to charge it up always, at all times, and that is going to get extra damage from that. And then for the Flask of Wondrous Physics, we have very basic stuff. I am not entirely sure if the Spy Cracktia enhances this thing, because at the end of the day it is an Ash of War, so I did not want to place this thing on the build on itself right now. As a matter of fact, you know what, we can actually test that right now. If we deal damage to this guy without the Flask of Wondrous Physique, that is going to be 3000. I did not intend to do that. 3000 for that. It's always weird to do testing with these guys, because they have so low health pools that they, yeah, he does. Oh god. Well, yeah, there you have it, boys. Oh god, this just got stronger and deadlier now. I did not know about that one. It's nice to have that one as well. So the Lightning Shrouding Cracktia and the Spy Cracktia is going to increase the damage of this thing. So as well, something that you do want to have as well is a Sacred Earthsteel Dagger. The Sacred Earthsteel Dagger that we only have because of this. As you can see right here, if I do this again, it's going to be around 3000. And if we buff ourselves with Golden Bow, that is going to increase the AR as well. And that is going to increase the damage of the Ash of War as well by 300 points. But it is still quite amazing. 300 extra points in damage. I'll take them any day. So basically, what you have with this build is that you want to use your Flask of Wondrous Physiques. You want to use your Golden Bow with your dagger. Since we do have a build that is not focused on Fate, we do not have natively Golden Bow, and we are min-maxing actually this build. So we are using the Golden Bow from the dagger, and once you are buffed up, you can start spamming this thing. But also do remember that when you are just regularly exploring throughout the world, fighting against basic enemies, you do not necessarily need to be wasting. As you can see, the damage that I can deal right here is just more than enough to fight easily. As well, the enemies are going to get staggered, because of the barricade shield. Barricade shield does stagger back enemies, and basically you are immune to damage because you're attacking always from behind your shield, and the amount of damage that you do from behind of shield, it is reduced. Not gonna lie, it is reduced, but it's still more than enough for you to be able to be traveling and exploring without having to use your mind. And then you can save your mind for the most dangerous encounters, the bigger bosses, the bigger enemies, being mini bosses, so on and so forth. So yep, this is one of my favorite builds of all time, and now thanks that we have the barricade shield back on its feet again, it's one of the most strongest things that you will ever find in this game. Remember to like the video if you find the information useful, and remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and remember as well, if no one has told you today that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, you are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Have a beautiful day, and I'll be seeing you goddamn gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Goodbye.